Hey everyone. So we left off, we were checking the valve to piston clearance, and then from there we were going to go and talk about rocker arm geometry and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to put that off for a video all on its own because a few other things came up that I really want to share with you guys that I wasn't thinking about at the time. And then we'll do one on the rocker arm geometry. So let me turn that camera down. So in the previous video, we did the whole valve to piston clearance deal. We did it with the clay method and all that kind of stuff, and we had a bit of a discussion about it. And I can't, in my opinion, emphasize enough how important it is to do it at two camshaft locations, advanced and retarded. You're straight up, the numbers will be right in the middle of them too. So one of the things I do, and I didn't show in that video, is I will assemble it with two separate checker springs on two individual cylinders. I'll put my cam at 4 degrees advance. I'll put these rocker arms on, and I'll have the clay in there, of course, and I'll turn this thing over a couple revolutions. And then I'll take those rocker arms off so those don't move anymore. And I'll put those rocker arms on the next one. This saves me taking the head off again. And then I'll readjust my cam to 4 degrees retard, do the whole thing again. That way I only have to take the head off one time. Don't have to redo the clay and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I like to do it. I don't know why I didn't do it that way in the video. But anyways, so we got that done. And like I said, all you have to do after you do that is your straight up valve to piston clearance will be in between them two numbers, exactly in between them two. Okay, so now, before we get into doing our rocker arm geometry, I just want to go over a couple things. Bolting the heads on, and this was something I haven't talked about in the past. I always use ARP, but I got a message from a guy here a while ago, and he was in a pinch. He couldn't get ARP bolts. He wanted to get his engine together for the races and all that kind of good stuff. He couldn't find ARP bolts or studs, but he found himself a set of factory brand new head bolts, and they come with this factory sealer on them, okay? And that sealer is hard as can be. So when you go and you're running these bolts down, and I don't care how clean your threads in the block are, we always run a tap through them and clean them out and blow them out. That stuff takes a lot of torque. So you can put these bolts in, you can set your torque wrench to 20 pounds, and some of them, they'll click before that bolt even bottoms out on the head. So the solution to that is you have to, if that stuff is hard on them bolts you get, you have to wire wheel that off, and then you have to put a sealant on them. Either or, don't Loctite them ones in. Aviation sealer, it just, it's messy and yucky, but damn, that stuff works good. And some good, some good Teflon type, not Teflon tape, but like this liquid white thread sealant stuff. Put that on and then torque your bolts down. If you use that factory stuff, sometimes they screw in easy, sometimes it takes 20 pounds. You could be under torqued. If you add 20 pounds to all your numbers, you're going to be over torqued, right? So before I go any further now, we've assembled this, put our rocker guide plates on, our rocker studs. These I like to Loctite in. You have to put a sealant on them. Sometimes they'll break into the intake port on some engines. Some engines, they go right into the intake port. Put a sealant on them. I prefer, on these, to use Loctite. Loctite's a great sealer, and something like this, where if you're servicing the engine, you're probably not going to be pulling that out. Another little tip, if you're doing these big block Chevys, and you have these raised guide plates, before you go home all excited and wanting to put your engine together, you have to get yourself the deepest, thinnest 11/16 socket you can find. The problem is you have a hard time getting down in there. So just something to think about. The other thing, the vitally important with these, when you're using a poly lock on these, right? You have to make sure, now if you have ARP studs, these are going to be machined flat. If you're using a stock stud, which I highly recommend against, get some ARPs, but you have to have these machined totally flat. And here's my apprentice. Hey, go and chase some mice, okay? Go catch me a mouse. Okay, so if you don't have this machine tight, that little jam nut, that little locking screw in there is going to work loose. It has to seat firmly on the base of that. Okay, so now we're just going to throw the lifters in the thing, rocker arms, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go through adjusting the rocker arms and everything like that. One thing I want to talk about right now before we get into that. One of the things I'd like to talk about now is I want to say thank you to all you guys who are sending me comments and sending me likes and subscribing and all that kind of stuff. You know, I appreciate that so much. I'm getting a lot of questions asked, and I absolutely love that. Ask me anything, and I'll do my best to answer it, give you my opinion type of thing. I want to apologize. I don't get around to answering all of them. I'm not very good at the whole internet geeky thing. And so what happens is I find them, I read them, and I don't know always how to get back to them, so I can't really respond to them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little sit-down conversation here, and we're going to film it. And I'm going to have somebody go through, find them all, and read them to me. And I will just answer them in a vid, as opposed to just trying to talk about it here. And maybe somehow she can figure out how to make it interactive. I don't know, but whatever. So that's something we're working on. What else do we got to work on? I'm going to show you guys some of the projects we have in the shop here before we get too carried away finishing this off. We have, I know I've been talking a few times, we got a big surprise, a couple big projects coming up. I just got a few more of these I have to get done. I'm way behind. And that's just around the corner. Matter of fact, we'll the next day or two, we'll film a little bit of a sneak preview on that for you guys. And once again, all you guys, you send me comments and likes and all that. I really appreciate it. That's beautiful. Thanks, guys. I look forward to sharing what I can with you and hope to see you out there.